Inside my hoodie. Inside my hoodie. Inside my hoodie. I'm hoodie. I'm hoodie.
I can't believe we're here. This is legit.
In person.
Live and in person. Hi, Kirsten.
Hi.
So, I've taken a lot of notes for this, by the way.
Okay.
So I'm ready.
Okay.
Because I thought a lot about what we were talking about yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
But first, what is up with this weather?
I don't know, but I kind of like it that I don't have to hike down today.
You know, you never have to. You've earned that VIP status.
I know. And one time we were taken down because there was a storm, and it felt a little bit like cheating, but also I was grateful not to have to go down the storm.
I've cheated so many times.
But I do generally, I like the hike. But it was really nice to know that, you know, if ever a ride is needed, that it's available, and I appreciate that. But
yeah.
but generally, I love hiking.
Me too. Well, no, I just lied.
Oh.
I don't love hiking. What am I talking about? I like nature.
Yeah.
So I'll go hang out in a hammock, but
Yeah.
I don't want to hike 20 miles to get to that hammock.
Yeah.
No.
I do genuinely feel bad for the people that are hiking down right now. And there's lightning.
Yeah, that me and other Jeff were just in here talking a minute ago, and artillery went off. Like, it made my heart thump.
Really?
Did you hear it? I mean, I could feel it in my feet.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, I was in Mosul. Well, I was with my unit, and we were on skeleton cruise. So there was normally 5 people in a Humvee. There was only 3. And the whole mission was to take the trucks to Mosul, go to the fob. They're going to redo the armor, and we have basically a week of vacation.
That's what my cousin used to work on them.
The Humvees?
Yeah.
1114s?
Yeah, like sometimes they would take him out into combat areas to fix them. But yeah, he was deployed twice, once in Iraq and once in Afghanistan, and that was his job to work on those.
Dude, we love him. Because, we call that outside the wire, and our whole missions were 7 days outside the wire. And people, the motor pool guys like that, because we had a flat tire once at night, so I had to get it. We had to change it, but we couldn't for some reason. And so the guys from the motor pool had to come out, and they never got to leave the wire, so you could see how excited they were. It's like, you're welcome to it.
Yeah.
7 days, no showering. I mean, like, no entertainment, really. We did laugh, though. We laughed so hard. But anyways, we were in Mosul sleeping one time, and they started walking in mortars, and they were getting closer and closer to us. That's like one of the times I prayed. Because it got louder and louder to the point I could hear the shrapnel start hitting the building. And I was like, none of us got up. It was the weirdest thing. None of us made a noise. We just sat there and were waiting. So when I hear really loud thunder like that, it just takes me right back.
Yeah. Not
in a bad way necessarily. It's just like, oh, I'm alert now.
Yeah.
So hate it.
Which means your body is still holding on to that.
For 20 years.
Yeah.
It's like, I need to relax at some point. Like here when I'm on, like, manager on duty at night, I just want to put my earbuds in and immerse sometimes, but it's like I have to keep one ear off, always look at the radio for the green light. So I love that I'm on vacation right now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's got to be nice because then you can just fully enjoy it up here.
So let's talk about your initial, like astrology, tarot, and all that. Like, I know we've talked about it before, but I'm not sure if the audio was good.
Oh, right. Okay.
Because our shows have been a little wonky.
Yeah.
But because you have a similar background to me, like the religion, guilt, shame kind of stuff. No.
No, I think it's a little bit different. That wasn't part of the Episcopal religion that I grew up in. It wasn't like pressed upon you, like you must be in church and you must. I mean, it was a lot more open to personal interpretation. But I guess because I, was such a rule follower. I'm a recovering rule follower. And so I felt like, oh, I should go to church. So I kind of put that upon myself, but I don't feel like church ever put that on me. So, but the but I've done a lot of my own coming to terms with how I feel about religion. So that maybe that area is like more similar, but for astrology and tarot, I will say like I dabble in a lot of things because I haven't felt the need to go all the way into really fully learning and mastering like one thing. I really appreciate the people who have done that, and I try to learn from them. But what I guess my background is more the energetics.
Yes.
And then I will use things like astrology, tarot, divination, a little bit, but not a whole lot, but lots of different tools to try to make, sorry, I just said that, get different interpretations of things and just try to like make it all fit together. But under all of that is the energetic piece. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm using it to train my own intuition.
Yeah.
Because I want to, that's more like, I don't follow rules. I actually hate rules, but then I'll make some. It's weird. But yeah, I just have this really strong feeling that there is no one right way for anything, just like with religion.
Right. Yeah.
But they are all good tools. Like even scripture can be a good tool if you're not weaponizing it. Yeah. You know? Yeah.
I think it's just so fun to play. I highly respect people that do they do master something and become really well versed in it. I just don't have that inclination at this moment in time. I like the dabbling, and I really like to look at things through different lenses, and then the overlap is where I just kind of like pull it all together. But then also in the spaces where it doesn't overlap, I'm like really curious about that as well. So I'm just curious.
Yeah, me too.
So I can't like, you know, when you pull cards for me, like I genuinely have to ask, like, what does that mean? Because I don't know all the cards. If I and I have my own deck and I'll do readings, but I do very much have to go and read the book for each one. But what I'm doing is, you know, on a different level. I'm like feeling the energy of all of that and how it fits together, and that's where that's kind of like, that's not my specialty, but that's where I don't know, I feel more comfortable.
Yeah, I'm looking for a guru that would be willing to come on, because I need the guru to help me with my emotional discernment, because my whole life I've soaked up other people's emotions, and I had no idea that that's what I was doing until recently. But you know, you see someone getting in trouble out in public or somewhere, and it's like I would take on that cringe or that, you know, that shame. Like if someone was getting yelled at by their mom at school, I'd feel it. It's like, why am I affected by this? And so the same thing with, like, I'll get in moods. Like you've probably seen some of the videos where I've just been totally into the cards, and like I'm reading it through intuition and putting this whole thing together, but I can't do that on demand. And do you want to be able to do it on demand? Okay. But my thing is, I also don't want to point out the darkness on side of it. Like I know that everybody experiences darkness, but the readers who make it a warning rather than something that you can learn from or needs to be avoided, like that's what I don't want to do. I don't want to say, oh, you're pulling the Tower card, something terrible is going to happen. Yeah. Pull yourself together for the next however long, and it's how you handle that Tower moment, whatever it may be, however it may come. We're all going to have them. So I want it to be a beacon of hope and a tool of like that, rather than, oh no, your next week is gonna suck.
Yeah.
Because if you think that, if you take that at face value, then it's gonna suck by the law of attraction. I mean,
and it's kind of staying aligned with fear. The people that I follow, and I think the reason why I do continue to come back to them, where they're like, this is an area that they've studied for like decades, but and I don't know what they were like 20, 30 years ago. I just see them now. So they're very well practiced. They've gone through their own stuff, and they really come at things from a very neutral place. And that's something that I align with right now, especially, is trying to not even necessarily trying to, I mean, definitely intending to, but then I also find myself coming back. We were talking about yesterday. I keep bumping this. Is that?
Do you want me to turn it upside down?
No, but is that bad? Am I mixing things up? Okay.
No. You can actually fidget with it if you want. I mean.
Okay. I'm afraid to.
No, it's all good.
So complicated.
It's actually cheap. That's the cheap microphone.
But that place of neutrality is really something that I am wanting to explore. So I'm drawn to people who also maintain that sense of neutrality in their interpretation of, planetary alignments and the energy of that and what influence that might have on, emotions, decision making, seismic events,
sure.
But anytime people really start to, even it could be somebody I've been watching for a while, but as soon as they start getting more into doom and gloom or prophesizing, then I'm like, okay, they have stepped out of alignment of where they originally were, and it's not in alignment with me. And not like I'm trying to avoid or bypass, but I just know that the message is going to be clearer if it is not attached to things like that, to emotions, or if fear starts to creep in, then does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know.
And I'll still go back and forth with those people, but I have definitely stopped watching certain people who have shifted in where they're coming from.
Yeah, I have. I'll watch new readers all the time, and I've noticed that the first thing I'm going to do to stop watching them is if they start putting dates up. This is going to happen by this date. You must watch this by now. Okay, that's clickbait. I don't believe that. And then the ones that want your money. I don't care. Yeah. Make your living, but they'll do this whole build-up video for 20 minutes and be like, and now to learn how you can avoid this mess.
Oh, God,
go to my members only, you know?
Yeah.
So
I like the ones who are like, buy me a coffee.
Yeah,
I'm like,
sure.
Sure, I'll send you $3. Like, I love your videos.
Yeah. Tipping, that kind of stuff is all cool. And I don't want to get into that. I mean, money's fine. You can make your money. It's just, there's clearly people doing it as a gimmick, or they think it's easy. And they will just read the cards for what they are rather than any intuition. And I think I was talking to Jeff about religion a little bit, and I was telling him my viewpoints of it, and he thinks, and I kind of think so too, that more people think like we do than we give credit to. I think a lot of people are scared, living in that environment because it's all they've known.
Yeah.
And Christian religion, like the one I grew up in, is supposed to be by blind faith. So if you start questioning, then you start feeling like you don't have that blind faith.
And why blind faith?
Because that's exactly, and it's all boils down, in my opinion, to fear.
Yeah.
Like if they have fear placed in you, that'll sell seats. Because
faith, the whole like, okay, some people, I need to see to believe, or I need to, but sometimes through believing and having faith, then I can actually see.
Exactly.
And that it's a back and forth, and it's so personal.
That's exactly what I said.
Personal. And but there's no blindness, really, because it's a back and forth of you know, I see something which um, I reinforces a belief, or and then I reinforce my belief, and that opens up opportunities for me to see things that I never would have if I just needed fact alone.
Right.
And but nowhere in there is it you must ignore everything and just have faith and believe
Yeah.
in this.
You know what I told Jeff? I said, if that was the case, why didn't Jesus just be like, hey, I'm about to die. All you got to do is just remember that and just have faith in that, and you'll be fine. Because that's how it was taught. You just have faith in Jesus. But then they go week by week, and it turns out there's actually a lot of work you have to do to get saved. And
Right. Yeah. Money, you have to tithe.
it's like,
and,
yeah. And in my opinion, I think churches, you're not tithing 10% to God. Usually you're making sure the pastor can pay his mortgage, and
Yeah.
there's way too much. Churches aren't doing anything about.
But okay, why? And I'm just asking. I don't have. I ask a lot of questions. I don't have
That's what we're here for, yeah.
answers, and I don't think, like you said before, there's no right answer for no one right answer. But
Mm-hmm.
the purpose of a pastor or a priest in truly, like, in having a real personal relationship with God, a higher power, Jesus, whoever, why is it required to have a spiritual leader in order for you to have that? If not for some level of power and control, because
Gatekeeping, yep.
it's taking away your autonomy in developing that relationship on your own with your own intuition.
Mm-hmm.
And it's making people feel like they have to do it a certain way, and they're going to go to hell if they don't, or
Yep.
they're bad if they don't, and there's all this guilt. And instead of creating any type of spiritual connection, it dismantles it. And I think a lot of people don't recognize that. Well, I feel like once people actually turn away from organized religion, and then through their own process come back to something spiritual, then they realize, oh,
That was me.
yeah, like I don't need anybody else. Like, this
Right.
is personal.
Yeah, it is.
And I don't need to tell anybody else how they need to do it, because that's personal to them.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people are looking for that proof, though, like that. Let me see a blind man see again. Let me see a lame man walk, whatever. Water to wine, walk on water. Like, they want to see that, but they don't realize that the proof we see, like you said, it's so personal, is something I couldn't even explain to you.
Yeah,
Like, it's
a feeling.
like the synchronicity numbers I see. Like, I'll ask for proof, and it's like God knows us so well, or spirit, source, the universe, whatever you want to call. And you can't attach yourself to that outcome. Like, you're not going to tell God what to do, right? But you can make it known that you want some kind of proof. I hate to say proof, because it's like, like, I've always known there was something bigger than me. And I just never got along with what the church was saying it was.
Yeah.
But now, I get it, And
Yeah.
so when Christians talk to me now, you're wrong, you're going to hell, I'm like, cool, I'm glad you think that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that, it's not all different gods, and one God is better than another God, and only one
Right.
God will get you into heaven. And what is heaven? Like, what?
Exactly. I think I'll tell it straight up what I think, and this may evolve over time, but I think the earth was spirits, God, like, we want to talk to God, and they want to experience God and come down to earth, right? And you take the Adam and Eve story. I'm going to try to stumble over my words here, but I'm just trying to get through this. So Adam and Eve, right? They could have had this perfect paradise, which in hindsight's 2020, we can look at that and say, they really screwed up. Or they didn't even know what gratitude was. They're just children, you know, and living in perfect paradise, the serpent probably said like that. I think that whole thing was twisted and to make it look like we're the assholes, when in reality, it's probably the story of how humanity decided to experience itself, or God experiences themselves through us, and we're all part of the same soul fondue kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
Cast out of the Garden of Eden, translating to forgetting all of that, and then now experiencing, going through the process of finding your way back. Was that what
yeah, that's pretty much like or
Oh, I had to hear the thunder.
oh yeah.
But to hear it through the headphones is kind of cool.
I don't know if they'll hear it. How do I have this set? We'll see.
Okay.
I could feel it though. Like I could barely hear the rumble. But anyways, yeah, so somewhere along the line though of humanity, I think, you know, just being separate from God is what, being separate from love, being separate from source is what causes the greed. Ooh, I felt that one too. The pain, the lack, all of that stuff is separation from God. That is hell, if you ask me. And some people want to thrive in that, and sucks for them in the long run. But and I don't think it's the one chance to go, though. I kind of believe in a form of reincarnation.
Oh, I do, 100%.
Okay. I've studied enough of it that it's like, this actually makes more sense than you get one chance and screw you.
Yeah.
And the way Christians explain it away is just baffling to me. It doesn't make any sense. But so like, I feel like we're, and not to like toot our own horns or anything, but I feel like we're pretty evolved soul-wise. Like, I think we've done this a few times because these things that I'm talking about have resonated my whole life. I just didn't know how to put words to them.
Yeah, and also, I agree. I've experienced that same thing, and also thinking I was wrong because what was reflected back to me from, you know, my external environment. Not to say that it wasn't really my parents. It wasn't them. It wasn't any one thing. It was just me picking up everything else that's going on that just did not think in this way or believe this. So I kind of convinced myself that I was wrong.
Me too.
And,
I did that too, yeah.
But and my mom, to her credit, I can't remember how old I was, but she went and talked to somebody because of me and I guess stuff that I had said, who told her to read things like the Celestine Prophecy and Many Lives, Many Masters to try to get like an understanding of that. And so she was open to it, but because I guess when I was younger, and there's a lot that I don't remember, but I had an imaginary friend that was, I think she must have felt at some point like this isn't just like making up a person to play with, like she's like, I was like talking.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, she probably felt a little offended that you were like toying with her God. Right?
No. She was. I think she felt like I had some other kind of like spiritual connection or something. She was just trying to like understand and be open to, and I was, you know, really sensitive, and I don't know. So all I know is that, you know, she was like open to that kind of stuff, but I didn't have anybody else. But she never really talked to me about it at the time. It wasn't till later. And I think she even like went to see a psychic one time about it. But she never really talked to me, and so I never really had anybody in my family or sphere of influence that was outwardly spiritual or anything. So different situations different things that happened to me that were more like psychic or highly sensitive were kind of scary for me, and without knowing what I was doing, I think I shut a lot of that down. And also because I felt so different I think just the way that I interpreted the world and like read things didn't match up with what other people were saying. So so just this is all happening internally. I assume I'm wrong. Like I need to get with it.
Isn't that sad?
And then it took a long time but the whole time I realized I was still always using my intuition and always having some type of guidance in that way, even though I had turned off a lot of other things, and even though I was trying to I don't know, like match other people.
Yes. Ugh.
But and now I realize that's just like, that's who I am, and those are my gifts, and it's better for me to just be me and see the world the way I see the world and interact with it that way, and that's a lot more comfortable. And it really does make me wonder how many other people feel that same way, but they also have just tried to assimilate because this is the structure of our, but I really feel like all of that is kind of, I want to say crumbling. It's not the right word.
It's gotta crumble though.
It's like, crumbling's like not the right feel of it.
It needs to be dismantled a little bit. I think revisited.
It's losing its strength in
For sure.
its in the like the structure. Like it, to me, it feels, as opposed to like falling down, it feels like, well, certain things are getting like, certain layers are getting like pulled back. So people are starting to question, wait, why or what, you know, and then the structure of all of that feels thinner and thinner to me.
Catholicism is a big example because my grandmother and my other cousins and aunt and uncle were very hardcore Catholics. I had to go to mass with them once. My mom made me go for my grandma's sake, and I remember my cousin like, you can't take this, you can't do that. There were all these rules. I was like, I don't want to anyways.
Yeah.
But even now, it feels like, remember Calvin and Hobbes? Like Calvin Ball, how they make up the rules as they go? That's what Catholicism feels like to me. Like the Pope just came out and changed up a bunch of stuff. And apparently, I mean, Catholicism was always taught to me from a young age how wrong it was because of, I don't think it's wrong if you're Catholic, do you? I'm just telling you what I was taught. But, you know, I was taught that only God can forgive sins, but they're going to confessions and all this stuff. And I was like, but I've been confused more often than not, you know, about religion. And it felt like such high stakes were on the line. Yeah. Eternity.
Yeah.
Torment is an option. I need to figure this out, you know?
Well, and also familial or group shunning if you don't.
For sure.
Which is scary.
I've been feeling that a little bit with when I came out about the tarot thing and all that. It's like none of them have said anything, you're going to hell or anything like that, but most of them have just gone radio silent, or they'll make a smart ass comment. Like I got the deck I was showing you yesterday. I was putting up some I thought were really pretty, and I just posted a picture. Beautiful cards. Nope. Like that kind of stuff. And it's like,
this is from your family?
Yeah. Okay. Not immediate family, but like extended. And some family friends. They'll come around though. But I'm trying to say that, because it's like, oh, are you comfortable with your sins now? It's like, what are my sins? I need you to clarify that first, because sinning to me from the studies I've done is about missing the mark. Like not necessarily, you know, drugs or partying or having a good life. That's where they try to umbrella all the sins, you know, sexual sins, whatever. It's like, I think it's how we treat each other, how we treat ourselves, you know, and if it's your actions are rooted in love, that's the point. If you're rooted in greed, because there's guys that go to church that call themselves Christians that'll rip you off just as quick selling you a car.
Oh my God, so many. So my husband is in finance, and he's had so many different, and actually this happened to a family member of mine. These people who meet financial planners at church.
Yeah.
You know, like, so these, and it's women. It's always women who are either widowed or divorced. And like my family member got completely ripped off by this guy she met at church. He was a financial planner, and then they got together and he took all of her money. And then other women who have, they weren't current clients of his. They were like the bank could kind of like match them up with him for them to talk with him. And they were like, well, I met this guy at church and he's recommending that I do this and this and this. And he's like, yeah, those are going to give him like a lot of commissions, but it's not in your best interest. Like,
Right.
this, you need to focus on paying down your debt first. Like,
Yeah.
these are what is going to be good for you financially. Anyways, but like there are people with not great loving intentions who know that in a church environment, people's guards are down and they assume that everybody there is loving and, altruistic. And
you hear about it all the time.
don't
Especially,
want to get into the priests.
I was about to say that. I was going to say, especially on the Catholic side.
Yeah. So.
And we're all mistakes. I mean, even as
We're
a
all
human,
mistakes.
I mean, we all make mistakes, and I've definitely in the past done things to people with not having good intentions. I wanted to be mean to someone for doing whatever. I've come out of that. Were we talking about this yesterday about the power that you can feel when you're angry?
I can't.
Because you were, what was it?
What?
Like you'll be in an argument, you walk out, oh, I'm not done yet.
Oh yeah, no, we're talking about Duncan, yeah.
Like I get that,
Yeah.
and it can be really empowering in the moment to get your words out. Now, because like I'm that way, like I'm a Libra, I need to even things out.
Yeah, you want that balance.
So I'm trying to I've come a really long way to get the balance back myself.
Yeah.
I feel better being non-reactive for sure.
So with that being said, and also realizing that you take on the energy of other people's emotions without realizing that, which is an empathic ability, like being an energetic sponge, which on the one hand just means that there's this high sense of sensitivity or high level of sensitivity, and it's good at especially working with it and coming to understand things better is really helpful for reading the energy of room, and really helpful for ultimately assisting in bringing balance to things. But if you're unknowingly caught up in emotions that other people are experiencing plus your own, it creates a lot of chaos and turmoil that makes finding, like, you want to find the balance, but it makes actually coming to a place of balance more difficult because you don't know which emotions are yours. Do you feel this?
I do. And go ahead.
So I was just going to say it's something that can be,
That's my phone.
Okay.
I forgot to silence it.
It's something that can be a really amazing strength to get to that place, doing some work to separate out other people's emotions from your own, and to be able to detect, but two, also to do some energetic work to create that boundary. So it's taken me years, but I now don't feel other people's stuff in my body quite as much. Like when I used to do energy work on people, like I could feel stuff in my body as I'm working on them.
Yeah.
And at one point I'm like, oh, this is super helpful, but not really for me ultimately. Helpful in the moment for working on that person, but there are other ways to figure out where the energy is needed, and as opposed to me feeling it in my body, and that goes along with feeling other people's emotions. So figuring out, there's, you and I can talk about this more later if you want, but.
Well, I'm curious because I wonder if the point, because I don't consider myself psychic. Like I don't feel that energetically or, oh, this is coming, that's coming. The cards are what they are, but I don't feel psychic, I guess. But I've been told before that I'm supposed to transmute that energy into good. Not just alchemize it, because I do that anyway. So I'm going to alchemize anything into a song or whatever. But to actually, rather than try to boundary that energy or figure out whose it is, I just take it in and then transmute it into good and then put that vibe back out. Kind of like a washing machine. That's and I've done some research on it and it makes sense. I don't want that responsibility. But I don't have a choice. Like I said, my whole life I've just taken in the vibe of the room and I get to make that choice then. Do I want to make the vibe better or worse?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So you but the struggle is what are you
The
typically struggling
struggle
with?
before was always, why am I always walking into a room and feeling the heaviness? Or like, I thought that was just me and I was broken. Am I depressed? Am I la da 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 da? You know? And like the other day, me and Matt, I walk in there in a bad mood and within 10 minutes we're like talking shit to each other, you know? And like being all rude. And then 10 minutes after that, we're hugging it out and talking like me and him are the two here. Like if either one of us is in a bad mood,
Everybody
that's it.
else, yeah.
That's it. And so I decided I don't care how bad of a mood I'm in the next, and this has been since. I'm gonna joke through it, and we've had a great week, you know. And he's even pointed it out. He's like, "Damn, you've been awesome," you know. And so even those days, like I'll go in there feeling that heaviness, but like before, I felt like I had to let everyone know I'm feeling that heaviness.
What? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I see what you mean, and then really, what that comes down to is holding a certain frequency, which does and an intention, which doesn't mean that you're not going to have things that you're not going to have bad days or like things
Right.
that make you frustrated.
That's naive to think you will.
Right. But in working with that intention and that alignment to transmute lower frequencies.
Yeah.
And to be that thing that helps to bring those lower frequencies up to where your frequency is, even if your emotional frequency, because your energetic frequency that you hold and your emotional frequency, they don't always have to be the same. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if you're holding that intention and that frequency of like a higher vibration, more loving vibration, then when you interact with other energies, whether it's your own or you know somebody else's, and I'm not energies, emotions,
Okay.
and they're lower, they're out of balance. The best way to get, you know, to process through, I mean, is to process through it so that something good actually comes out of it, as opposed to just trying to like flip a switch and get rid of it. So you'll have to go through stuff, like you said, you know, with you and Matt, like you worked through it and then you got to that place. But holding the intention of always wanting to get to that place or wanting to get to that higher frequency, I think will help you to be that person, or that more than a person, but that energy that helps to move things and bring more into balance.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
But recognizing,
It's kind of an unsung hero thing.
yeah, but it's you know, but we all serve different purposes, and I think multiple purposes. And to be a barometer is not the right word, and I don't know why I can't think of the word that I'm trying to think of. That it's like how, you know, like if you have all these metronomes, and I guess if they're on like a movable surface and you start all, like you have them going at different rates, that they will all come into congruence with each other and be, you know.
It's kind of like, you ever, like you're sitting at a stoplight and the blinkers are going off. I'll watch them go, and then they get, you know.
Yeah. Okay. So
and it goes back and forth. I mean, it's the same. Like.
So the energy of your intention to hold that higher frequency is what helps to bring other people's emotions and frequencies into that alignment.
It's like being an example almost.
Yeah.
But people have to take that, if they become aware of it, they have to act on it. You know, I think a lot of people, I know I was, being younger, you have these ideas about what you can be and do in life, but you're brought right back down. Like, oh no, you need a plan B, or, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I do know what you're saying, and as a parent, I'm caught in the middle of,
I was going to ask you, like,
this is the plan you're supposed to follow, and this is what guarantees success. And it doesn't. I've lived it. It doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't. Well, it depends on what you qualify as success. And to me, I mean, I did all the things that I was supposed to do, and I got to exactly where I wanted to be, and I wasn't happy. And then I realized, oh, success to me is happiness, fulfillment, feeling in alignment and purposeful, and, you know, it's not being my own boss. It's not having a company. It's
right.
not,
it's not money.
It's not money. It's not the things that I thought it was supposed to be.
It really is in here. Like, it starts within. As within, so without. If you're miserable and bored inside, that's what's going to reflect out. And there's like a lag, if you will, in the 3D. So to do this work and to start it, there's that period of lag, as I like to call it. It's the only way I can explain it to people. They're like, oh, I get it. Like it's like buffering on your Netflix when your internet's bad.
Yeah.
But it has to be that way, because if you just, every thought you had became true, I mean, it would just be chaos here and stuff. But you get into alignment, the frequency, you find that happiness, and you sustain it. And it doesn't mean sustain it 24/7. It just means, because like I have bad days where I don't want to do anything, and that's okay. Like you're allowed to relax and recalibrate and find that frequency. But for the most part, I wake up in a good mood. I don't have to find a way there. Like that took some work, but it's like, oh, I know now, because then like that personal proof we talked about earlier starts showing up.
Yeah.
You know, and now here I am in my cabin in the woods. I've been manifesting for 15 years. You know, it took me having to see that though. Because I was manifesting a cabin in the woods that I could do my podcast. Didn't have a job in mind or money. It was just like, that's what I want. And then, boom.
Yeah.
When I finally opened my brain, I was like, oh, I see now. Like, wow, and I got a view.
Yeah.
Didn't even ask for that.
Right,
And it's all free.
Yeah.
So.
And that's why I come back. Hold on. That's why I come back a lot to frequency, alignment, intention, and neutrality. For me, in my process, this is where kind of everything is overlapping. And it's the thing that right now I'm exploring a lot to kind of make sense of, well, to make sense of lots of things, but also like, where is everything going from here? If old patterns and constructs and structures and everything are starting to shift, you know, I don't know. It's just, it's actually hard to put words to it, but this is where I keep coming back to. So I ask a lot of questions, and I kind of try to put it in that lens. So for example, asking, well, we were talking yesterday about how if we hold the idea that nothing is good or bad, then and we remove that label. And when you remove the label, it kind of takes the energy of good or bad out of it too, and then you're just left with something, and it's more neutral, and then you can really look at how is it serving you. So something that previously was labeled bad, like an argument, say, or like, you know, being in a bad mood, walking into a room with somebody else, having an argument. We would say that's bad. It's bad to be in a bad mood. It's bad to argue with somebody. But if that argument turned into a very deep conversation, even if it was really hard and painful, but it got to the bottom of some things and really allowed a process of healing or understanding, or something happen for those two people, and afterwards things are better, both people feel better, and it's a better, stronger relationship or understanding or whatever, then was the bad mood that initiated that, and then the argument that came from it, was it really bad? Or was it just a challenging amount of intense energy that led to a process of healing and then a recalibration of energy?
And that circled all the way back to the garden, if you ask me. I mean,
yeah. So,
rather than viewing it as this disgusting mistake that screwed humanity, see it as the wake-up process. You know?
Right. And to look at, like, I think that there's this assumption that everything should be, we always should be striving for happiness and no problems, no mistakes, you know, money, power, status, all these things are good, and anything else is bad, and then you should, you know,
everyone will
shame
have
yourself if that happens.
Oh, yes. Shame yourselves.
Right. So I just kind of like playing in this pool of the, okay, well, if it's not good, if we take away the good and the bad, what are we left with? I think seeing it gives a new understanding of things that are challenging or hard. And if we take away that things that are challenging and hard are bad, and we see that things that are challenging and hard actually move us along and help us evolve or bring new awareness or new skills or, you know, new connections, then going through the hard, challenging part was just a part of the process.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't negative or bad. Because what if you didn't do it and you just tried to keep things all easy and even keel, it never would have gotten to those other things that created the growth.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's really what it boils down to. I mean, like, you know, I had a falling out with some friends once. He had a friend pass away. And I was there, like, I was telling him, you know, he was grieving that first day, and I don't remember how it was even brought up, but I started remembering for a friend I had lost, and I was trying to connect with him, like, I've been through what you've been through. They took it, he and his wife took it as you're trying to undermine our pain for some weird reason, so we didn't talk for like 6 months. And we worked it out, everything's good, but that threw me for a loop. I did not see that coming at all. I was like, whoa, I was really just trying to help.
Yeah.
And there's a difference in, you know, we had a guy that worked here for a while who would come in and mess things up. Like, he'd mess up the tea or whatever, and I'm just trying to help. It's like, okay, well, ask first.
Yeah.
There's a difference, and don't do something, screw it up, and then think you're covered just because you were trying to help. No, I'm going to be mad, and I'm going to be human about it and tell you to back off. But apparently there's, like, people feel that with emotions too, and I don't know if they, like, some people just want the sympathy. I know that's a thing. Some people just want the sympathy. They don't even feel sad for the person that passed away. They just found an opportunity. So discerning that is different, but yeah, some people don't want, like, the good and, like, the connection just yet either. I had to learn that the hard way, but
I mean, and for all of those things, like, you know, if somebody just wants sympathy, so like the judgment of, I'm just using this as an example because it came up, but so good versus bad. If we, like, our minds tend to look at everything as either good or bad and then place judgment.
yeah.
So if somebody didn't seem truly that sad, but they were capitalizing on, like, getting sympathy over something, and then we perceive it that way and we think, well, that's bad because, or we're judging, like, you just want the sympathy, you didn't really care about this person. But what if, like, taking all the judgment stuff away, under all of that person was actually, you know, hurting and feeling empty and a loss in something for something totally different, but this death kind of triggered that need, and they weren't really aware of that, and just reaching out in that, like making a connection in that way through something else, and then like to see all of that, then you're like, oh, okay, well, I guess it makes sense. Like, you really did have this other emotional need, you just weren't aware of it and couldn't verbalize it. So if I understand that, I can take away the blame and the judgment, and like maybe we could just go, like, talk or connect.
Shadow work. It's shadow work. And actually, I wrote a note that's similar to that. My note says, it's the negative thoughts and solid feelings you have to catch in real time. Don't be ashamed of the thoughts. Don't act on them. Negative vibes and feelings are data points. They are the megaphone for your shadows. So, like you said, if someone's, wanting sympathy, but they are still feeling that emotion, that's where they need to sit with it. And people wonder how to do shadow work. That's how. When you feel bad, you have to make the decision then, not sleep off till you feel better. You sit with it in the negativity, and that's when it melts away.
Yeah.
So.
And I say all this only because, like, we have the time and space to dissect it. In the moment, that's not what's going through my head. Like, I want to get to that place where I can have that bird's eye view of other people's stuff, and not immediately go into the judgment. That's my intention. That's where I would like to be. But this is the work that has to happen first, of like kind of like playing with it in this space first. But it really, like, it has the effect that just mentally, even going through this kind of stuff and playing with it has had on me energetically, is that I feel the energy of judgment and shame and blame and good and bad just kind of starting to make its way out, which is really, really nice. And I don't have the intention of trying to, be on like this side of the emotional spectrum all the time. Like the neutrality is great, because not that I want to just be like neutral and plain all the time, but being aware of the back and forth, and then like wanting to come back to the center, it is helpful, because when we're feeling a lot of emotions, everything is colored through that emotion and we take it personally. But being neutral is being able to not take it personally and see it as like separate from ourselves. And I find a lot more insight and wisdom there when I can do that. But I can't really do it in real time with other people yet. I got to do it like when I'm sitting and thinking, or driving, or like in the shower, or... Yeah,
I get all my downloads come when I'm driving. It's like, I was actually going to tell you, I was wondering, because you told me a couple shows ago that you do the pottery thing. You should get a recorder and see if you can get, not to record yourself like doing it, but just to have behind you. Because like I started doing that when I was driving. I would just hit record, put it there, and then I'm talking out my downloads.
Yeah, I do that sometimes when I drive. When I'm throwing pottery on the wheel, I'm not necessarily getting downloads. I think what I'm doing is I am anchoring and channeling energy without mental attachment to it.
Okay.
And it's really meditative for me, but not in like a mental space, because mentally I'm very focused on like what I'm doing, but energetically, I think I'm just like running energy I'm working with the clay. So it's a collaborative process, but I think I'm just like running energy into it. And that wasn't an intention that I had. I think it just naturally what I'm doing. But I have had so many people, like people who don't even, like aren't my friends, like don't know me, just like happen to, somebody that I know gave them some of my pottery, or they bought some of my pottery, and then I saw them again. And the things that people say, not just like, well, they'll say like, oh, I love your pottery so much, and I appreciate that. But when people say things like, your mug has become my favorite mug, or like, my husband will only drink coffee out of your mug, I'm like literally makes me want to cry right now, because I'm like, that's energy.
Yeah.
Like that's not how my pottery looks. That so many potters have more beautiful pieces than I do. But like that's the energy I think
Yeah.
that I'm putting into it. That is carrying. It becomes a vessel of that. So just like how you were saying, like you're transmuting energy. I feel like energy is going into the pottery, and that is like holding that frequency. And
Oh, that's awesome.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's cool as hell. Yeah.
I wasn't like, oh, I want to do this. My intention is always that I want to serve in ways that are for the greatest and highest good of others.
Right. Yeah.
So that's my intention. That's the energy that I hold. And then because I don't assign something specific to it, I just kind of follow what feels really good and inspiring to me. I think that energy, that intention then goes into those things, or things pop up for me to then put my energy into. It's like all this stuff. I know all this stuff is happening in the background that we can't see, but by creating an alignment to it and setting those intentions and holding it, that's how I feel like we get moved around and we get placed where we needed to, or like conversations happen. Like I remember that day that we were talking up in I had never talked about this stuff before.
I was like,
and look at us now.
I was like, tarot? Because like I've had other volunteers and they're like, but we're broken.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like I'm always very, am I gonna like, is this person gonna be cool with it? So I always skirt around it until I see they are.
Yeah. So, but holding that alignment and those intentions with that alignment, and again, coming back to it's not good or bad, is that everything is frequency, everything is energy, and if you intentionally set an alignment to certain frequencies, you are going to be like law of attraction. You are going to connect with those things, within your life, because everything's energy. It's going to show up as all kinds of different things. If you lower your frequency, if you stay in low vibes, that's what is going to be attracted to you as well.
It all comes.
But if you get to the place of being more aware and realizing that along this process of evolution as a spiritual being, that it's not just God, I'm really doing bad things in these cards. It's not just about healing the self and the self. Like initially it's that, because that's kind of where we start. But then you get beyond it and you realize, well, I'm connected. Everything's energy, so I'm connected to everything. I influence, and I'm influenced by all of this energy. And so I really want to be of service to that.
Yes.
Well, and then you start becoming that person in the room that is just naturally recalibrating. But you have to know that on the flip side of that, because nothing is good or bad, it's not just about bringing everybody up into this like higher state. It is walking people through unintentionally and without always knowing, like subconsciously, your energy is creating opportunities for other people's growth and other people's process.
Yes.
And those fiery energies or that anger or whatever, it's not bad. It's just part of the process.
Yes. And that's true. Like that was really interesting how you said the energy goes into the pottery and it becomes a part of that piece. Like that's really cool. Similar with music, you know.
I don't
like,
throw angry.
No, like.
But like I think it calibrates me first.
Sure.
And I do listen to certain kinds of music that I like, but
like I created music, and was in these different bands as from a young age, and high school. Like I never had the family support in the way that, oh, do your thing. Yeah. Like they kind of just dismissed it. They'd never supported in, we're going to let you live here without a job, or like I would see different bands play and I would always bring them. Like I used to book shows too when I was a teenager, and I would bring these bands from Dallas, Texas, you know, and their mom and dad would be there and they'd be like, oh, this is all we're going to do until they get where they want to be. And I'm like, oh man, that would be nice, you know? And I'm not shaming my family for that. It's just what it was. But I put the work in anyways, and I did it alone. And years later, you know, after the most recent band I was in, Broken City Sky, broke up, a couple years after that, I get a message from this kid's mom, and she's like, "I know that you guys."
Oh, you told me about
Yeah.
this. Yeah, but
Okay. Yeah, like, and I've told it on the podcast before too, but yeah, like, all he wants is Broken City Sky to play, and I was like, wow, like, it has been a bummer that I didn't have that family support, and I always felt like I was this outcast against mothers or something. But here's this mom reaching out to me for her teenage son. It's like, I hold on to that. Like, that was a big deal.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
To know that we impacted him somehow,
Yeah.
and that his mom is with it.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
So, like, the same thing though. I've always had, like, every time I write a song, even if it's a sad song, which most of mine aren't, they're actually pretty. You can do it kind of songs, you know, or experiences I've had or whatever. And I never wanted to write songs about, like, Blink-182. I love them. They're catchy, but their songs are like, ha ha, dick jokes kind of stuff, you know, and not into that.
Yeah.
I wanted my lyrics to be impactful.
Yeah.
And so to see and we've played shows before. We never became, like, huge or anything like that, but we have played shows where we sold out of merchandise after, and people were having us sign CDs. So we got that experience, and so it's just good to know that what happens now is out of my hands, but I did my part.
Yeah.
So, and that's all this is.
Yeah.
If nothing else, in however long, I have a bunch of awesome conversations to go look back on.
Yeah. That was a mental construct that I got out of several years ago that has still been a process. Like, I'm still processing all this, that you don't have to pick one thing and do that for the rest of your life. Like, that's my parents' generation.
Same,
and they used to have such judgment of people that didn't follow that. Like, my family member, the one, unfortunately, who got involved with a financial planner who then, like, took all of her money. She was a flight attendant, then she was a teacher, then she was a real estate agent. Like, she's been so many different things. And my parents, in their view, you know, you're just hopping around. You're not really serious about life. You're not, you know, you're not grounded, and that is, you know,
it's like, no, I'm
not
refusing.
what you want to strive to be.
Yeah, I'm refusing to chain my energy to something else.
Right. So I absorbed that, and then I thought, well, I just have to pick what I'm going to be, and then, like, be that. And like I said before, I did all the things I was supposed to do. I met all my goals. I excelled at everything that I did. And then reached a point where I was like, I am miserable. This is the only time in my life so far, I think, maybe there's been twice, but this one stands out. Where have you ever had something where you literally could not say the words? Like, you were having these intense feelings, but you could not make the words come out of your mouth no matter how hard you tried?
No, but I've witnessed it.
Okay. I really didn't think it was possible until it happened to me. I just thought it was, like, you know, in the
It happened to Maddie when
like
we
a
were
book or whatever.
new in our relationship, and I was trying to teach her to be a Christian because I was still into that back then.
Yeah.
And I was like, "You're gonna go to hell." I was this whole nasty thing, and she just sits there.
Yeah. Okay.
So for like an hour, and then I was like,
Yeah.
"Say something."
Yeah. So for the last 2 years, when I was running my therapy practice, and because of the way my dad was the business manager, and the way he structured it was just out of alignment with what I really wanted it to be. And then when I took over, when I bought him out of the company and I took it over, and I didn't really have any business training. Like, I didn't really have any business being, you know, a full-on business owner and operator. Like, I just, you know, was really good at being an occupational therapist. But that's where I found myself. And I, like, managing people was just not my strong suit either. And for 2 years, I hated it. And I felt so trapped because I was like, well, I've got myself here, and, like, to get out of it, I don't see a way out of it, because, like, I employ people. We are, you know, all of our therapists are seeing like hundreds of kids. And anyways, but it was a mismatch for me. And I could not get the words out of my mouth to say, I'm not happy and this is not where I'm meant to be. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. I literally 2 years could not get it out of my head.
Chakra block.
And what's so interesting is that then in 2017, as my kids they had been training in karate, and I never thought I would ever do karate ever in my whole life. And then I started to feel like my body, not my brain, my body was like, you need this. Like, I just had these intense, you need this. And my brain was like, I don't want, and it was all guys. There were no women training.
Really?
There was like maybe one woman I saw a couple of times, but all guys. And I got another one of the moms to do like a trial class with me. And our sensei, he was really great because he kind of took us aside, separate from all the guys, and just trained the two of us on our own initially. And he immediately brought energy work into it. And one of the things was also like he wasn't really calling them chakras at that moment, but he was talking about, being able to do the ki, where you like that forceful exhale. Mm-hmm. I couldn't do it. It was totally blocked. And then, so I worked with that and then got to the point where if as a group we were all doing the ki, then I could make the sound, but not on my own. And I remember the day that it finally unblocked and I could do it by myself with everybody else, like not doing it. And I started to be able to use my voice, and it was that was the beginning of 2017 was when I started training. And then that summer I finally said out loud, like there was one thing that happened, it wasn't even that big of a deal, but it was just like the final straw, and I said, I'm done, I do not want to do this anymore. And my husband was like, oh, thank God, finally. Just like been waiting. And I could finally say it, but it took months of like that. And I didn't know what I was doing. It was all energetic, and it was through the training in karate that I got, and I've like really built that connection back to myself. All subliminal stuff, but built that connection back to myself. Was finally able to start verbalizing what I wanted, and from there too, like my sensei played a huge role in me coming back to my, I guess, awareness of my sensitivities, of like the energetic piece, the spiritual piece, and it was so funny because so do you want to know what happened? Like I don't. Yeah. This is like a total tangent. Sorry, I did not even mean to go into this.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had known that he was an energy healer without even knowing what an energy healer is, because I had been going to this acupuncturist, and his wife at the time also did energy work there at the practice, and I'd seen her, and the woman who I was seeing for acupuncture, she was like, oh yeah, that's so and so, she does energy work. But she said, but actually her husband is like really gifted at it, but he doesn't even like really to do it. But he has a karate, studio or dojo. But that was like years before my kids weren't even training there yet. But then come to find out it's the same person. And like, so I kind of already knew that he did energy work, but we had never really talked about it. And there was this one day, a couple months into training, so it was maybe like February or March, no, probably like March. In the middle of the night, something happened to my neck, and I woke up the next morning and I could not move it. And my first thought, and I'm an occupational therapist, so I've got the e-stim unit, I got all kinds of things that I can do to like help my body. Sure. But my first thought was ask sensei. And I emailed him and I was like, hey, sounds weird, but like, I can't move my neck. Can you help me with this? And he was like, yeah, come in, come in. It's like an hour before the daytime class, and I'll work on it then. And so I lay down on the mat, and he's like behind me, and is just like putting his hands like on the back of my neck, and I felt this energy go through my body. And so he works on it for a little while, and when I sat up, I was like, what was that? Can you teach me how to do it? I need to do this for other people. Like, those were the words that came out of my mouth. I didn't even think about it. Those were just words that came out. And he was like, he goes, yeah, sure, I can teach you. And the crazy thing is, my neck was improved probably like 70%. He was like, you can still do the class. And then he said, but continue to breathe through it. He gave me some like visualizations and like breathing through it. And after that, so then I had this neck issue to continue working on myself. And I just started would close my eyes, and I would like visualize, pretend that I was like massaging my neck, but I was like sending my breath to the place where the tension was, and I was energetically working through. I had no training in any type of energy work. I didn't even know what it was prior to this. Right. And then, so then after that, we would just like have conversations, or I would ask him questions about things, but there was never like any like formal training. It was like just being in class, like, in classes with him, or having conversations with him, like switches were just getting flipped on, like all this stuff. I was just getting all this stuff, and then I started working on other people without even knowing what I was doing. I was like, can I put my
I did that to Sarah the other day when she was sick. I was like, let me clear your throat, because she couldn't talk, and I didn't want to work all day, so I was like, come here. I don't know what happened, but
well, it was like, it started with my mom, just she like pain in her hip or back, and I was like, let me just put my hands on you, and then she'd be like, it feels so warm. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. And so all of that just really evolved. And then our sensei, he started together we started doing classes at our dojo where other people who were training were doing this work. We were kind of like teaching it to them, and I was just learning a lot on my own from myself, just kind of like letting it come out. And then I did that for about a year, and then I did Reiki training.
I want to get into that, because it's so fascinating to me. So.
Yeah, it's really cool. But I just had this feeling of like, don't go into it yet. Like as a therapist, like this is what you do, is you do trainings, you learn new protocols and new methods, and new ways to treat certain things. So my brain was like, this is what you should do. But intuitively, I would get this very strong message of, no, just wait, just explore it on your own first. And it wasn't like I was, having anybody pay me for what I was doing. I was just practicing on people, just, kind of. Yeah,
that's same with what I'm doing with here and the tarot and all that. I just do it for fun. Just kind
of let it come out and explore it. And so I finally got connected with this woman who's now a friend of mine, and she is trained as a shaman in the Dagra tradition, which is West African. But she's also trained in Reiki, and so she was going to start offering Reiki trainings, but shamanic Reiki. Like, she brought some elements of shamanism into it, and I just got this, I need to do that. So it was like a year or more than a year since all of that first started, for me energetically, so that when I did the Reiki training, I realized, oh my God, this is exactly what I'm already doing. Like this, I wasn't learning anything new. I was just validating everything that I was already doing. And then I learned the symbols. I hadn't known the symbols. But so that helped me to really just kind of trust what I do naturally. And even though I went all the way through Reiki Master training, I've always ever just done my own thing with energy work. And every time I work on somebody, whether it's somebody who's new or it's somebody that I've worked on for years, every session is its own unique blend of whatever is needed. And I just really trust that. And I've allowed it to evolve over time. And it has. Um, and I mean, for some people, I think Reiki is a great place to start, especially if they have no like foundation for energy work yet. And a lot of people find that a lot of that wakes up for them with the Reiki training. For me, it was kind of the opposite. It was more a validation.
Okay.
And having been a therapist, I also already had certain levels of like professional ethics that were already part of me as a therapist, and doing Reiki trainings helps to give people who don't have that background the understanding of that type of ethical and professional conduct. So I think that is super important. But yeah, it's just it has been, I know went way around the whole like not being able to say anything. But the point of all of this is that through finding my voice, through finally saying out loud, like, this is not me, well, actually, it was the compression of all that, I think, that brought me to, or connected me to something that was really going to change my life by actually, in so many ways, bring me back to who it truly was and had been denying. But with all of that, I really had to let go of the idea that things are supposed to be a certain way, or you're supposed to follow a certain, recipe for life. And that I've done so many different things.
Me too.
That
was going to be, sorry, I cut you off.
Okay, I'll just finish and then.
Okay,
put a pin in it. But I want to come back to what you said. So I've done so many different things. Like I hadn't intended to become a lacrosse coach, even though I played lacrosse.
Right.
But I love coaching. I hadn't intended to become a potter. I just wanted to get back to something that I really liked doing when I was in high school. I love doing pottery. Like there are so many different things. I hadn't intended to start certain service projects that I have done, or to become. That wasn't something on my radar, like 2-3 years ago. And I love this. And but it's staying in alignment and letting go of the things that I thought I was supposed to do or supposed to be, and allowing space for things to keep evolving, and knowing that I don't always have to stay in those places either. Like I'm a brown belt I was a brown belt in karate, and I don't train anymore.
It still kicks some ass,
Which
probably.
is it? I don't know. I haven't tested it, but I got to a point where it wasn't aligning with what I needed, and the more I tried to force it, the more difficult it became. I still love that community and all those people and treasure that experience. I know I can go back to it at any time, but right now it doesn't feel like the thing that I need in my life. Like I need other things now to keep evolving. And I wrestled with that, but I also have had so many experiences of just staying open and going on to new things that I realized that is part of the process. So trying to avoid boxing myself in, and then I try to pass that on to other people who are feeling boxed in, to say, like, if nothing's good or bad, then
right. Yeah. So
it's okay. So, but go back to what you were saying. You've done so many things.
Yeah. Ever since my first real job was when I was 15. It was Chick-fil-A.
Oh yeah.
But I've done so many other jobs, and that's just, I was raised the same way though. Like, you got to get a job and work for the same person or whatever. You got to have honor or whatever it is, and I've just never been cool with that.
Yeah.
Teenagers, I'd go work a job for 2 weeks to get a paycheck to go to a concert, and then just jump to the next one, because I always get hired on the spot pretty much, unless it's a job like the Army or something that took a lot of actual like patience and work.
Yeah.
It's that law of attraction thing though.
Yeah.
That I didn't even know I was using so comfortably, because I just on a soul level knew if I need a job, I'll get one.
Yeah.
And it's been that way ever since. And I was told by a couple of the like all the readers I watch every so often you got to support them, you know, and get like a personal reading or something. And I've had two now, and I never knew how to take this. I still don't really understand how it's going to impact, I guess, but about my own voice, because I've always known I wanted to use it. I've done radio. I was in the band doing vocals. I've published a couple poetry things, you know,
Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
yeah. And I've been published here, I mean, for the footnotes, you know, or
Oh,
whatever, that kind of stuff. And I'm writing all the time. I have my blogs and stuff. But what they were saying was, I'm going to have messages, obviously. But, say this in here, but I'm going to send it because I don't mean it in a go me way. It's actually a very, it seems more like I'm very stepped behind who I thought I was going to be, because my voice, it's not what I say, it's my literal tone activates something in whoever it's supposed to activate. And so they might just hear me in passing and never know who I am. And that's fine with me. So I want the messages to be good, and anybody can take something from it, but I could literally sit here and just tell stories, and it would activate whoever hears it to wake themselves up and do that, so on and so forth, the ripple effect. So that's weird, but it's also kind of cool. Like, I'm not psychic or anything, but...
Yeah. And, you know, okay, so the psychic thing, too, I was going to say, is I used to think, oh, like, that's the thing, like, to be psychic. Like, that's what you're, like, trying to get to. And this was years ago. And because when I was younger, I had experiences of that. And I thought, like, this is so weird, and it's really freaky. And that and some other things just kind of like shut stuff off. But there's intuition, and then there's, you know, being psychic, which, you know, they can be combined or they can be separate, I feel like. And I kept thinking, like, oh, I need to, there was always this talk, especially in the groups of people that I'm connected to, like in that like energy work area, like psychic development. It's always about like psychic development or like being a medium or whatever. Right. And I eventually got to a place where I think I was just like asking, like, why, like, what's the point? Because when I do energy work on people, sometimes things will pop into my head that, and I don't know if that information is for me or if it's for them. And so, you know, I had to get comfortable with sharing it. And by sharing it, then I can actually figure out, like, oh, that means something to them, or, oh, that is, that's something for me to, and it's always symbolic, to interpret, to help with the energy work that we're doing. But I don't know unless I say it. But I also kind of have this code of where I don't want to invade anybody's privacy. I don't want to know more about them than I need to know for this moment in time, where I am in alignment of being of service to them and their greater and highest good, and greatest and highest good. And I think, as I told you this before, like I've had a couple of people, energy workers, do work on me and then tell me these things about myself, and I'm like, that is not. But the way that they were saying it, it was like they had the authority of this insight over me, and
authority,
I was like, no,
Mm-hmm.
nope.
Yeah, I have a problem with that.
So I don't ever want to, and I also don't ever want to make people feel that they're dependent on me, because I've had that happen to people too, and they're like, oh, well, can you read this, or can you do, you know, I'm like, I am not you, and I can help you a little bit, but also it's up to your interpretation. Some things are just not meant to be known, like they're just meant to be, you go through them and you experience them.
You want to know how I explain it to people?
Yeah.
Okay, it's I use a river metaphor. I'm like, you can take 3 pictures of the same river, and I'm going to see the same 3 pictures, but underneath the water, it's constantly changing. So when I pull tarot, what we're reading on, whatever question you're intending for these cards, that's that one snapshot.
You're right.
You know, and yeah, I can take a peek, but I'm not floating down there with the fishies.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
half the time I don't understand if my intuition is even working. I know it is, but it's a process.
Yeah. Well, the other thing with like psychic abilities and stuff, or developing psychic abilities, is, you know, the always wanting to be right, you know? And
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you don't want the 50-50.
But then again, also, like, what is right? And again, under the river, you know, like, you can see the surface and be right about that, but be wrong about the underneath, or vice versa. And I think people don't get that either. And especially if they go to somebody who's a psychic, they want somebody to tell them about themselves, or to tell them how to fix this problem, or to tell them what their future is. And so I started coming back to a lot of like, why? What's the purpose? What, like, psychic abilities? Like, what is the purpose? I'm more interested in intuitive abilities, and my own intuition, and empowering other people to find their connection to themselves, to build their own intuitive abilities. Because being psychic, honestly, what does it matter? Because if that's just mostly looking at future, then you're just looking at possibilities, not necessarily specific outcomes. Or if you're psychic to be reading somebody, then that feels invasive to me. But
it is invasive. I mean,
so I don't know.
Unknown.
This is just where I sit. This is where I sit with.
I wrote about that
and
last night.
And to say not good or bad. It's
right.
Just something to.
I was writing last night. I was writing stuff. And I wrote, it's the unknown. I would still charge in a battle knowing the outcome, but like part of me, like, that's what it is. That's where fear comes from, anxiety, all that stuff. It's the unknown. And that's why people seek out psychics and all this stuff. And it's not so much this is going to happen as I think, you know, as it is, we need to say, you need to tune your energy back to a frequency you want to experience.
Right. Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
And if you feel a frequency, it's not those pair of shoes that's going to make me feel happy about it. But if that helps, great. But if you're feeling a dominant frequency, you're going to keep getting that frequency back.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what the 3D object is.
Yeah.
So.
And if you're looking to psychics to help, I don't mean you, I'm in the general you.
Yeah.
If people are looking to psychics to help tell them what to expect or whatever, then that is kind of staying in more of a victim mentality mindset, because you're just you're wanting to know what's going to happen to you, as opposed to getting in alignment and setting intentions. Because that's taking ownership, but also staying open to how those things are going to show up in your life, and not putting expectations, but just the alignment and the frequency. Like, I feel like it's so foundational. Like, this is what we should be teaching kids from a young age.
I've said recently on
Understand
this.
your energy.
It's, you know,
Regulate your nervous
teach kids
system.
exactly. Yeah, teach kids how to read and write, how to communicate in English or whatever language, any language, and then let's focus on like the young kids need guidance. So what is making this kid tick? Forget about what clothes they want to wear or whatever, but what is making them contribute to being a human? And then, because that would have changed the whole game for me. I spent 18 years feeling like a moron and disappointment, you know, and that took a lot of work to find my own value again, because you're constantly told, oh, you don't have value, you have Fs.
Yeah.
You know? So, and that's not boo-hoo me. It's like I'm very proud of myself for not letting that define me.
Yeah.
You know? And knowing deep down that everything was going to be cool. I've always had that underlying hum behind my ribs. Like, everything's cool. It's going to be fine. And it is. It really is. But yeah, I visualize an old radio. If I'm feeling low, I'll just picture it.
And then just change the dial.
Yeah, and then I'll wait for it, because like feeling high vibes and stuff, those are tangible things. And if you're feeling low and heavy some days, it's really hard to come back up, but sit with that shit.
Yeah.
I say, you know.
So these were messages that I was getting a few years ago that felt preparatory, and certain ones have definitely like come up to the surface again at different times, and one of them that has been more prominent is the getting comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I've found that applies to so many different things, but also, and one of them is that like things are changing and changing very rapidly. And
That's been in a lot of my readings.
so if we can't find that ability to be okay with not knowing and with discomfort, that's when we lose our minds and or like try to grab onto stuff. Or like if you see a lot of people lately grasping for more control or having more emotional connection, like more fear or just being more controlling, I feel like they're responding to shifting energy that they're not aware of, and it's feeling unsettling to them, so they're trying to get more control to just feel stable.
Yep. What you resist persists.
Yeah. So, and they just, and those people aren't open to looking through this lens.
Right.
So they're not willing to go there. And then I just have to say, okay, well, I'm not here to convince anybody, not at all. But I'm also not trying to hide from it anymore either. But I don't throw it in anybody's face. If somebody brings it up and wants to talk about it, I'm like, great.
We are anticipating whatever this energetic thing is for the good of the humanity. But I think a lot of people, especially in churches, are viewing it as like the end times again. Mm-hmm. And so they're holding on to that. And that's the thing. They won't take any actions or steps to better themselves. They're just like, just hold on. Mm-hmm. Jesus is coming for us. I'm like, Jesus is here, yo. The consciousness of Christ is very well and present in a lot of people. And I am a firm believer in like the fact that whatever this change is coming, I think it is for the better good. And I think it's going to help dismantle this religious fear-based bullshit.
Yeah. And I know I've said this repeatedly, and I'm so sorry because I have to sound like a broken record.
Well, half the people are listening half the time, and most of them aren't going to remember anyway. So,
okay. Well, I was just going to say, holding that idea, that energy of if nothing is good or bad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's all just energy, and then it's how you perceive it and respond to it and work with it. Then whatever happens is, the experience of it is going to be determined by the mindset of it. Like you were saying, if people are feeling like if this is all going to be terrible and awful, then that's what they're going to experience.
Exactly, because I'm not experiencing anything like that.
Yeah. So and I really do hold that higher frequency of it, and that and I'm excited, but I also know that in order for growth to happen, the challenges and the discomfort are part of the process. There's no escaping that. So if going into it with more curiosity, with more exploration, with maintaining my alignment and then flowing with it, it's going to land differently for me. I'm going to experience it differently.
Exactly. Yeah, and I'm not expecting any major, like, the sky suddenly becomes red kind of changes. It's not going to be a spell. I just think we're in a profound time, and a lot of people are realizing their power. Yeah. Because I don't think anyone should have supreme power or be above anybody. That's not my goal.
No.
That's why I keep up the messy episodes and everything. It's like,
Yeah.
do it however you feel the need. Because I just felt the need to do it. I've been doing this podcast since last March now. Had the idea since November or December, but it took me that long to get the courage to actually hit record. It's me and Jowett sounding like idiots for 15 minutes, you know. But it's developed into this, and I know I've helped people because they've told me, and I've been in touch with people, and it's completely different than what I thought. It's more silence than anything, but could be hate, you know.
Yeah.
But it's growing steadily every month, and that's not even what I care about. So that's not where I'm going to go with it. But it was like I felt the profound need to do it, and didn't know how or what was going to happen. But it's all unfolded, and at the right moment, I'll just feel so good, you know, like. That's the intuition, I guess, or spirit guides, whatever it is. It's like that this is the right move to make, do it, you know? And because I give myself that space every day to clear away the doubt, and I still go through it, but you just get rid of it and ignore it and know that it's for the highest good. And if that is your intention, it's going to work out.
Yeah.
Like doing bands in the past, just want to meet girls, you know? That's about what we got, you know? So... Like, I actually have a vision for this to be something that a lot of people can be a part of and be this ripple effect. That's the goal.
And the other cool thing, too, is that people are going to get from it what they need. And, you know, the episodes that they listen to, but they're going to get what they need. And they'll be drawn to the episodes that they need versus the ones that they don't.
Yeah, well, their frequency.
Yeah, and you know, and it's not for us to know or say or what those needs are or how it's going to impact somebody. Even if somebody does watch it and it does elicit feelings of hate, and they send you a hateful comment.
That's fine too.
It still had it had the impact that it was meant to have, and that person, you don't know what that might have triggered or what might have was already kind of brewing for that person, and this was just another one of those things, another dot to connect that is leading them through a process of healing and growth. And it's so, I think that responding to the call to do the things that we feel really called to do, and not denying that in ourselves, even though we don't know what it's supposed to look like. Actually, just even getting rid of what it's supposed to look like and following those intuitive feelings and really enjoying the process and learning from it. That's so authentic and genuine, and that energy out there impacts other people in ways that, like I said, in ways that they need.
Yeah.
But it's such a, I guess, a symbiotic process too, because it impacts other people, and then, you know, it helps you, it fulfills the need, it helps you grow. I just think like that's the types of things that we all need to be listening to and following. As opposed to staying in that box of what am I supposed to do? Right. And then I'm going to do what I've been told I'm supposed to do, and then not. That's disconnection.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly.
I mean, what you do is just the energy of it could inspire somebody to, even if they don't really end up listening to episodes.
Yeah, which is fine.
They just, something about it could inspire them to finally do the thing that they...
Or they'll just hear our voices and be like,
right,
chink, activated.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, for me, it's been so fun to have an outlet to talk about all of this. I mean, I have plenty of people that do a lot of similar things as me, and we get to talk about that. But it's all the same people.
Yeah.
So to have somebody new to talk to about it, and you know, the different things that you're doing and what you're bringing to it, I think it's super fun.
It's totally fun, and like you and Michael, I'm so thankful y'all are willing to do it so much.
Yeah.
He wants to do it every day. I mean,
Really?
if I just don't have it in me, you know.
Yeah.
But like Michael, like has been teaching me a lot about humanity, and
Yeah.
I had this whole view of him when I first met him, you know, and then I was like, oh, this guy will be gold on my podcast, and then he comes on and he's normal.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, now I really don't understand you. And
Yeah.
so it's been an interesting thing, and then you and me, I usually feel dumb while we're talking because you're so articulate and smart and like
I want you to feel dumb, but
not dumb really. I'm just like, how do I put it? Like I'm learning. It's a level up, it's a challenge.
yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean because
So.
when I was working with the people that I was learning from, I felt the same way. Like there's I will never know. There's too much. I mean, already, when did we start having these conversations? Or the initial one when I was up
November,
here
I think. Oh no, yeah, I don't remember. I had just gotten my.
It was like early fall when I was up here. I mean, already, I have seen changes in your perception, your awareness. I've seen you just in like a couple of months expand farther out beyond yourself.
Thank you for noticing. Because I wonder sometimes, I feel it, but it's also like, I think that's the point. We have to feel small again to want to expand.
Yeah, it's always coming in, going out. It's that spiral.
Mm-hmm.
But already, like, you're like, well, we were talking about that through text the other day. Like, the energies right now are really supporting a much faster pace for that evolution for those that are really, you know, wanting to do the work. But I've seen other people on the process who've gotten started on it after I have kind of get stuck in that it's all about me for a long time. And you know what? Everybody is exactly where they need to be for as long as they need to be, when they need, like, there's nothing wrong with how everything plays out.
But there's also
it's all fine.
There's part of me that wants to play rescuer too, like Jowett with his amazing new band. He was down the other day. He was like, I'm just not doing anything. I was like, you've written 5 songs this year and you've recorded 4 of them already. Like you're doing. And he was like, oh yeah, you're right. I'm like, yeah, don't forget that.
Yeah.
But I also want to tell him, like, if you keep doubting yourself, you're gonna manifest that too in some weird way. And everyone here supports you and loves what you're doing. And his band is excited. Like he has a real good chance, but
yeah.
You can't talk to him like that, you know?
Well, because most people don't want to be told, and it is far more powerful for people to find it in themselves. And that's why I think my sensei never actually told me what to do. Like, it was brilliant.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I saw it later because I was like, how come you're not, like, actually teaching me? He was just holding that energy and dropping little I mean, and he was being very much guided as well to do that. But I see the power in that because personal empowerment is really what helps gets us on our way. And the best way to help other people that I've found so far, the best way to help support other people is to just embody it ourselves. And I know you've seen that where you've lived it, you've embodied it, and just naturally people around here.
That's literally what's happening. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, because I know, and like when you talk a lot about gurus, and when I think it should always be people going and finding the teacher that they want to learn from and being ready to move on to the next teacher when it serves its purpose. But as opposed to telling other people. But I also know that once you get on this journey and you have all these incredible experiences where things open up and it's insightful and
So
you're feeling
exciting.
process, you're like, I want everybody to feel this.
Yeah, that's one point I wanted to make real quick. I learned this in Iraq because we would go on these missions outside the wire for 7 days. I got to this point where I would be excited to have nothing because like I get to sit there with my thoughts now and feelings and think about the future. I didn't know that's what I was doing at the time, but it's the same thing now. It's like, okay, I'm bored. I'm feeling bored. Oh, excitement. It hits like a kid going to the candy store or something because I now get to focus on my inner work and that's important. I mean, that's what people need to do, but they get stuck. So
Yeah, and people, before they get connected there, this is scary, and this is what people avoid, and why they drown that out with all this other noise. Always have, like, AirPods in, always busy or doing things where they don't have to hear that. I listened to this podcast several years ago. This woman, I listened to it at the time that I was really struggling in running my practice and it not being, the right fit for me. And I just happened upon this podcast, and this woman's story was mirrored my own, because she got into business with her, with her family. She was now like running the company. She didn't want to disappoint her dad. And she made this comment of, she was on a vacation, like just working, crazy busy, but like she went to go snorkeling. And when you snorkel and your ears are underwater, like you can only just hear either the sounds of the ocean and your own inner voice. And I think she basically had like a panic attack in the water, because to hear her own thoughts, they finally had her attention and it was too much. And I was like, to hear that, I spent a lot of time with my inner thoughts, but I'd also been denying myself the opportunity to really say out loud what I'd been thinking. But to recognize that this is an experience people have, where they shut themselves off on purpose from their inner voice because they're too afraid to hear what it's going to say to them. Do you know what I mean?
I think I did that when I was younger, several points of my life.
But to find what you found, where like I crave those moments to be alone with my thoughts, that means that there is such a loving connection to the inner self. And like, oh my God, that's the best thing.
That's the goal. I mean, because none of this is going to be here in 100 years, none of it. But my spirit will be. And maybe it'll be in a new body. I don't know. But I just hope the next go around I don't have to go through 40 years of trials. Yeah. Which, it's about to be 12 o'clock. Did you want to join us for lunch today? Shrimp tacos.
Yeah, Matt said, but I'm with my friends here.
Yeah,
we
true.
got the sack lunches, so I appreciate that though.
Sure.
I will just say that, what was I going to say? I just went blank. What were you saying before that? Oh, okay, I know. I used to think too, earlier on this journey, it was like, oh God, I hope the fact that, like I'm waking up, and which is amazing, and I love this is like the greatest thing, but I hope I don't have to go through, this again and again and again, because the not being awake initially is so hard. You feel like you're sludging through life, and then this happens and you're awake, but then once you're awake, you're like, oh my God, like I can see things. It's like, it's just so much. And I really was having those feelings of like, I don't want to have to do this again. And like, so the goal is to become so enlightened that I don't have to. And then I realized, I don't know that there should be a goal. I think it's just alignment. Like, I just want to be aligned with this and open to new experiences that keep taking me on that path. And
don't bypass, like spiritual bypassing. Like, don't do that. Like, go through those steps to get there, because it's worth it.
Yeah.
But then you realize that there's no cap.
Yeah.
When I'm low, it feels like there's a cap, but it's strange.
So I think about coming back differently now. I'm not opposed to it. Before I was like, don't send me back. I want to be
for real. And maybe that's an option.
But now I'm like, what else is there to learn?
Right.
Maybe when I come back, like, telepathy will be a thing, because I struggle so much with communicating verbally. Like, if I could just communicate through thought, it would be
that would be great. Thoughts and feelings, peace and love, everybody. Peace and love.
So yeah. Well, we got through a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't. Did we check off all your boxes, or? I don't even know what you.
I only had written. Oh, I was going to tell a funny story about how the people that did my first natal chart and had gotten the date wrong by 1 day, but the time was right. So I spent 2 weeks thinking I was Libra Sun Scorpio Moon, and I was reading it and I was like, mostly, yeah. I was like, I don't resonate with a bunch of this.
I think that's what my daughter is. Anyways.
Yeah, so it was weird, but then I noticed the date was off, and it came back Libra Sun, Libra Moon. There's lunch. And I was like, wow, that makes more sense.
But you're okay. You're Libra.
Libra, Sag. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes you just the timing. It makes it, which I find mind blowing. But if you get the time wrong and have it, I mean, it can be different.
Yeah, and
then I hadn't even known that there was a difference between the Western tropical and the Vedic. And then when I started looking at my chart through the Vedic astrology, I was like, I don't resonate with this. But I had heard that because the original like Western tropical was done with stars and planets and in certain alignments, but like stuff has shifted, and then the Vedic astrology doesn't take those things that have moved into account. So it I don't know, it just felt like something to learn, but I don't know.
Just pick one before we go. Oh, I got 333.
I have to put my glasses on. My eyes are. No.
You're gonna love this.
I have 444.
So mine says 333. Get outside for some perspective. Marvel at nature and this beautiful planet we share. Have faith that the universe will take care of you. Straight up. That's basically what we've just said.
Yeah. Okay, you want to hear mine?
Yeah.
It's 444. Wait, are all of these multiples or they're different?
They're all between 1 and 9, but it's all 3. It's like, this was a gift that Danielle gave me for my birthday. So it's just...
So it's not weird that it's 3 4s?
No.
Okay.
They're all the same. Like, there's another 333, 666.
Okay. All right. You are allowed to pursue your wildest dreams without fear of failure. Protection. Which is... Fear of failure is what has held me back for a long time.
Straight up. Me too.
But my mindset is changing because based on a lot of stuff we were just talking about. All right. This is play your favorite song and visualize your higher self acting out your wildest dreams.
I do that.
Okay. That's awesome.
I do that. No, I do it. Like, there's this one rap song I'll play, and it's before I start meditating. And as the song's playing, I'm imagining this podcast being on tour.
Oh,
and
that's
like,
cool. Yeah.
So
you know what's really interesting is that, and I used to think this, even like, a year, or even several months ago, a couple years ago, I was finding that I didn't have visions of, actually, no, it's been a few years. I didn't have a vision of like, what is my dream? What do I want to do? Because I was very much locked in the whole like professional trajectory because I walked away from my practice, and then I wasn't practicing OT in the same way. I'm still an OT. I still use my OT skills in so many cool ways. Like, but I was locked into this, like, you got to figure out what your next job is and all these things. And I couldn't land on anything. And, even talking to my husband, he was like, well, what do you want? And I'm like, I don't know what I want.
that's a common.
And I realized that I needed to just stay in that space of if I don't know, if it's not coming up, it doesn't mean that I'm lost. It just means like I'm just in that limbo space. And that is a perfectly acceptable space to be. And that as long as I stay in alignment, things are going to start popping up for me that I could never have imagined. And that is exactly what has happened with a lot of the things I've done over the past few years. And I'm much more comfortable with being in that uncomfortable space of not knowing. But I also feel like maybe some of the reasons why I haven't had ideas or strong feelings of something that I want to do is because the energy for those future things is not fully realized and stabilized because so much is shifting. So much is kind of being dematerialized in order for new things to happen that for me personally to make like big future plans like that would probably end up shifting anyway as that energy shifts. But there are things that I do feel called to experience or participate in. Like I want to go back to Scotland, and I want to do more pottery markets and things like that. So there's like those kinds of things. But in terms of like my future goals and things, I feel like there's not an energetic place to like grab into. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. At the time, I know exactly. It's a very kind of frustrating place to be. But yeah, you can have this too. Call now. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah. Well, thank you for doing this.
Thank you. This is fun.
And anytime, we can do all the remote ones you want. You can
Yeah,
come
I
up
don't-
here too if you want. Like we're slow for a while.
Yeah.
Bring up your
No,
kids.
my
I'll talk
busy
to.
season is
yeah,
about
yeah,
to
yeah.
start because next, let's see, January 20th tryouts start, and after that, I'm like, I don't think I need to like look at my calendar beyond May and then email Sarah and get some dates in. Although you guys you're not even booking out that far yet for volunteers.
I don't know what they do.
I think she only does it in like 3 or 4 month chunks.